Chapter 13, Episode 8. Zara was lucky she was still alive. A big part of her luck was due to the safety features of modern automobiles. She was wearing a good seatbelt in a good seat. Without them, she would have died. She learned about that. She was brought up that way. Her father never made her promise to not steal cars. It was a rule to wear a seatbelt. A rule was different than a law. When in a car, wear a seatbelt. Seatbelts save lives. They said that on road signs. They also save backs. The doctor didn't want Zara to be moved. He couldn't have her transported with good conscience. There was no way, however. There needed to be a way because Zara would not recover in captivity. A new way needed to be invented. Prescott was one of the best negotiators in New York. He knew there was a way. The new way was simple enough for someone with enough resources. She needed a nurse that knew how to handle someone with broken bones. A doctor visit every day for the next week just in case. Then there was the question of the bed she was on, that she needed to stay on for a week, at least. The helicopter pad was the last problem settled. Prescott settled the matter with $1 million donation to the ward, a charitable donation from his law firm. Zara was in her own room shortly after that. The nurse knew they were landing on someone's personal helicopter pad. Anyone who could afford to have a private helicopter parking spot in downtown Manhattan was rich. She had seen that sort of thing on television and knew all about rich people. The crazy rich. There hadn't been a show about Zara's room. This is Zara's room. Room? That's how she wanted it. Zara loves trees. She wanted a little jungle. Are there any dangerous animals in here? Mr. Prescott laughed. Only us primates. There are a few geckos. Zara was moved with bed and equipment to the front room of her little cabin in her room. The medics marvelled for a few minutes before they wished Zara a speedy recovery and left. Flew away. The nurse had agreed to the invitation to stay in a guest room. The simplest solution. She had to take time off work, but was paid well to do it. She couldn't say no. It would clear up her student loan. Let me show you around. Okay. This is your room. It's a guest room, like a hotel room, except for room service. We do have a cleaning crew on Tuesdays. Let me show you the kitchen. I've never been in a house like this. It's mostly like any other house. The exception in here, there are no handles. Prescott showed Betty the trick to the doors in the kitchen. He instructed her how to scan her hand to call the elevator. The scan was the same for the emergency fire exit, the stairs. This is a piano room. Do you play piano? No. Patricia plays most days. She's very good. Zara and I often sit and watch her. It's a beautiful piano. The room looks like the room of a castle. Patricia was responsible for the design of this room. I love it. Feel free to bring a book and read, or stare out the window at the city. Then they went back past the kitchen and visited the library. This used to be my home office. It was turned into a library shortly after Zara was born. Zara sometimes does her homework at the desk. You are welcome to take a book or read in here. The next room was the games room. The main attraction was a snooker table. There were tables and leather chairs. Do you play? No, not really. The table's in bars a few times. You're welcome to it. We can have a game in the evenings. The last room on the tour was the exercise room. You can use this room too. Zara and I are here every day. Well, Zara will be out for a while. It's the size of a gym. Not quite. About half a basketball court. Zara practices her basketball here every day. She wants to. Or she wanted to play college basketball. She still can, but maybe a year later. The last part of the tour is up top. Betty followed Prescott up a set of stairs through a large vestibule and outside. You can sit in the sun up here, take a little stroll, or play putter golf. We are up here often in good weather. There is a small kitchen with a fridge full of drinks. You can play music as loud as you want. No one will hear you. If you want drinks with sugar or alcohol, just say so. You can use the barbecue. We don't use it unless Stanfield comes up for a visit. Or clients sometimes. Most Tuesdays I have a round of golf with Stanfield. He brings in the cleaning crew and plays snooker when it rains or is too cold, and mini golf when it's warm. I'm sending Stanfield out for some food. Do you eat meat or cheese? I eat anything. We'll get you some of that. Betty smiled. Unless she had missed some detail somewhere, she had the impression that she had won a prize. One of the gods had smiled upon her. One patient that really wasn't sick. She needed to rest, eat, piss and shit. She would have to be washed. Betty agreed to make a list of food she liked to eat. She sat in the kitchen looking at the stove and fridge thinking, what do I eat? She was told she would have to cook for herself during the day. Betty figured if she had so much in between time, she would cook. She knew a few things. The kitchen was so beautiful, space age and welcoming. She started with bacon, butter and eggs. Then she went from there.